I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for February 8th, 2023. The current time now is 6 o'clock. I have the prayer led by Councilman Brown and the pledge by Councilman Saunier. Councilman Brown.
Our heads, and let's remember the phrase in Our Father that as we forgive those who trespass against us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Councilman Saunier.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Tommy Pollard.
Here.
Michael Landry. Here. Marcus Broussard. Here. Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Gotchison.
Here.
Natalie Broussard. Here. Paul Landry. Here. James Strahan. Here. Scott Rossene.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
Here.
Lady Fontenette Brown. Scott Saunier.
Here.
Chad Montcherat.
13 members in a quorum. I need a motion to go into public comments. I have a motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilman Brown. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition. The ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Number one, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Comments on general public on agenda items.
We do have one to address agenda item 34 by Councilmember David Broussard. Mr. Broussard, if you can state your name and address for the record.
David Broussard, 802 Broadwood Drive, District 3 City Councilman. I want to thank this council again for putting on this on the agenda, Mr. Lowry, your staff, this whole council. This is the second round we're going through doing this.
34.
I wish to thank the council for continued support in improving railroad safety and road crossings within the city of New Iberia. $3 million has been set aside for this project. The idea of improving safety at railroad crossings was first proposed 20 years ago. Mr. Drusel Barrett, project manager for BNSF, the new manager, was in here last week looking at our project. Railroad informed me that he is waiting for Iberia Parish to complete the legal work for the acquisition of property necessary for installation of the control box. I thought we did this a year ago. I think y'all did y'all job. Somewhere it got stuck. I think it was illegal. So I don't want to get on the bad side of nobody in here, because I think everybody wants these things done, and we shoot from the heart. Safety of the people. New Iberia is a busy city, and railroad tracks run through the center of town. The city of New Iberia and Iberia Parish needs to be proactive. We cannot wait for an accident, then react. With the installation of arms and lights, safety at railroad crossings will be improved. Also, with arms and lights at railroad crossings, there is a decreased risk for railroad accidents within the city of New Iberia. Funds have been put aside for this project 3 years ago. $3 million to come do the work. All we need is the land to install the control box. Now, there's another issue. They changed the tracks from New Iberia to Generette. They changed the tracks from here to Lafayette. We have old tracks right in the middle of town. And they had a bunch of derailments lately around the nation and the state. We don't want another one to happen. I'm worrying them about that. But they say don't worry about that. We know what we have. Well, come do your tracks, raise it up 6 inches so we can get our arms and lights put up after you do what you have to do. So I hope I said enough here. I want to thank y'all. Y'all supported it a year ago. Let's support it again now, and let's get everything we need to the railroad man to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. We do have a question about the parish president.
Just a comment. I really want to thank Councilman David Broussard for everything that he has been doing. Seemed like for almost 20 years we've been working this thing here, and he's on it. He's been on it from day one. This started way back when with a railroad ad hoc committee. if I'm not mistaken. Right, and he's been on it. So I just want to thank him for what he's doing, and I think it's going to be a great deal for the city of Iberia and Iberia Parish. Thank you, David, for everything you did.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Broussard. At this time, is there anyone in the audience applying for boards and commissions? Hearing none, I need a motion to go back into regular session. Have a motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilman Brown. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving to community events and public service announcements, there is none. Reports from finance or administrative actions, there is none. Reports from parish or other governmental agencies, there is none. Moving on to Public Works report, number 1, Madam Clerk.
Public Work Department report for closed work orders dated January 11th through 24th, 2023.
Members, that should have been emailed to you. Moving on to special business, there is none. Council member announcements. Members, Councilman Trahon on announcement.
Yes, I'd like to announce, last Tuesday, I was sworn in to the local Workforce Development Board, number 40, and I look forward to working with Acadiana Workforce Solutions on trying to get people into the workforce in this area. I'd also like to announce, I know all the council members know, and administration and public works, that next Thursday on the 16th of February, we have a machine coming in to do a road demonstration for us with asphalt zipper. And we're going to meet up at Public Works facility at 9 in the morning. So anybody wants to come out and see it work, we're going to take a look at this machine and see if it's worthwhile us looking into to possibly do something better with our roads. So just want to let everybody know they're welcome to come if they want to come watch.
When's that again?
Next Thursday, the 16th,
At what time?
9 o'clock in the morning.
Congratulations, Mr. Trahon. Thank you very much. Councilman Trahon yields back. Anyone else, members? Quiet night tonight, huh? Moving on to parish president's announcements.
Well, I would like to start by saying Workforce Development Board, number 40, is a very, very, very important board. He not only did the training, in order to get on that board, if I'm not mistaken, you probably had to do ethics training and harassment training and all kind of other training. That's a big deal for us in Iberia Parish. It's, we have a lot going on in Iberia Parish and in this region. That's a regional board that he's sitting on, and I actually put his name up there to represent Iberia Parish on that board, and James is going to do a fantastic job. And moving on, start off today, we had a pre-bid conference that was held in Laurelville for the Laurelville Library. We had like 4 different potential bidders that was there in attendance. The sealed bids are expected here next week at 10 o'clock in the courthouse to be opened. That's something, that's one of these buildings that we've been trying to get rid of for quite some time now, so I know you're going to be happy, Scott, when this is all said and done. Last council meeting we had, I wasn't at this meeting. As you know, I recently went to Washington, where I had scheduled meetings with members of the Louisiana congressional delegation, our leaders, which included Senator Cassidy, Senator Kennedy, Congressman Scalise, Higgins, Carter, and also Johnson. I also met with USDA, the Federal Highway Office officials, EDA, and a whole bunch of others. And we talked about programs and grants that are being offered that might help Iberia Parish with some of the things that we're doing here in Iberia Parish right now as far as trying to move this parish forward. All of you are aware of the different types of businesses that we're trying to bring here, and we may need some grant dollars other than LED to land some of these businesses that we're talking about bringing here. So we had I had very, very good meetings out there, so things worked out pretty good. In Public Works, the last couple of weeks, of course, we've been doing the same thing as usual, cleaning culverts, picking up debris. We had downed trees. We had roadside drainage work that we did, road grading, inspections in different areas on the bridges. If I'm not mistaken, I think, Dexter, all of our off-system bridges right now are up to par. We're going to have to turn it in before the 28th of this month. But I'm glad to say that as of right now, I think today's the 7th or the 8th, and we got everything done. So we're looking good as far as working with DOTD on those off-system bridges. Speaking of off-system bridges, we do have one bridge that we're going to have to take care of before April, and that's in your district, James, that Mullins Road Bridge. So hopefully that's on the committee meeting, if I'm not mistaken, tonight for y'all to talk about that. We need to try to move forward with that bridge. We want to be working that bridge by the time April come here, so DOTD can see that we're actually getting it done. That's the only issue that I think we could potentially have if we're not doing something on that bridge. So we need to be doing something with that bridge. Also road patching, we've done that in various districts throughout the parish. And Mr. Chairman, one other thing, I got a letter from NACO, and it's in reference to Eugene Olivier. Apparently, Eugene was appointed as the National Association of County Officials on the Credentials Committee. Now, I don't know if y'all know what that is, but that's when you voting for whatever issues that take place. And these guys are, I don't know, man. I don't know how you pulling this stuff off, but these guys work with on a United States level, where it's big. It's a big deal. So I'm noticing that you might know more about. I just got the letter, so if you want to talk about this, you can. But I can tell you, when you're dealing with the Credentials Committee for NACO, that's a pretty big deal. How did you? I mean, I don't want to ask you how you did it, but I've been with NACO for a while myself, but I never got appointed to that.
I can follow up on it, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like to. NACO has a credential committee that handles all the election that goes on through the NACO organization, as far as the nominations of those that's going to be running for office, as well as handling the elections itself, as well as reading the results, during the NACO conference and annual conference in July. I'm actually one of 5 people chosen in the United States to serve on this committee. And I'm really proud of that position. It was offered to me by our president, Denise Winfrey, out of Chicago. I did accept the position, and I'll be meeting with them at this coming conference next week, actually. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to close with this here, and it's a little bit about Coastal Water. We're actively communicating with current and new contractors and engineers, and it's continuing to improve our water treatment plant. We have installed monitoring system which will allow for remote viewing and control, as well as emergency communications of our plant operators. All of that has been ordered. The monitoring equipment has already been ordered, and we plan to have that installed within the next 2 weeks. Flow meters that measure raw water to our tanks, we really are making major steps with the Coastal Water Works. I'm not going to read it anymore. There's just so much going on over there. Tonight Brad was supposed to attend a meeting with the Cade Water in reference to the customers that we currently have in St. Martin Parish. We're giving them back, or giving them to St. Martin Parish, and they're going to go under the Cade Waterworks, but that meeting was canceled. I think they might have been afraid that we was going to have some rain or whatever. I don't know why it's canceled, but they canceled that particular meeting. So as of right now, we're evaluating all the lines from the water wells in order to ensure that we're receiving maximum flow to the plant. Coastal Water Works number 3 is working with the contractors and method to clear and replace or bypass those lines to achieve maximum capacity. So Coastal Water Works, I keep talking about employees that Iberia Parish have, and when I talk about Brad, that's actually doing our sewer and our water, like a whole bunch of other directors that we have, but Brad he's really knocking it out. So thanks to Brad, thanks to all the different directors that we have, but I'm telling y'all, for him to walk into that spot and do the things that he's doing and work with the contractors that he's working with and the engineers that he's working with and have the capacity to learn and communicate and communicate it back to me. I'm telling you, I've worked with a lot of people. He's done a fantastic job. He really is. The last thing, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I did attend a meeting this morning for the library board. The director of the library board is going to be retiring, so I did attend that meeting. Actually, Eugene was at that meeting as well, but I did attend that meeting this morning to just listen to some of the things that they were talking about. And I'm done. I'm not going to say anything else because I can talk for a while.
Members, at this time, is there any questions for the parish president? Councilman Pollard on the question.
Larry, we're having a lot of problems with tires, people just throwing on side the roads and everything. I don't have much outside the city limits, but this lady, she calls me Miss Delcom. They, Washington Street, they just flooding it up with tires.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do about that?
In fact, yeah. In fact, this morning I was following Councilman Napier. We went and looked at a project that he have going on Highway 88, and I called him because he was in front of me on 87. I'm so sorry, 87. And I called him and I told him, I said, "Are you noticing all of the tires along the way?" I mean, people literally throwing tires all over the place. I did speak with Secretary Brown, DQ. There's issues with tires, and we have some things I prefer not talking about, businesses in Iberia Parish, but we're trying to come up with a way to have a staging place for tires, which we do collect tires at Public Works. So anyone can bring 5 tires at a time to Public Works, and we're going to accept those tires. Tires is a major issue here because when they're putting them along the side of the road like we seen this morning, and you get a nice little rain, it could potentially get those tires to go into a ditch, and the volume and the flow of the water could bring those tires next to a culvert, and then it's going to trap the box that's going to come along with the leaves and everything else, so it creates problem. We are, as you already know, the sheriff department go around and they're picking up trash and debris all over the place, as well as we have the litter abatement program that we do with the district attorney's office. What I recommend you do is give me a street. I mean, that's the best I can do because it's all over the parish. But if you know where they have something, give me a street. I can pass it on to Sheriff Romero and see if they can get those areas. And also, when we're dealing with community service, people that's picking up the litter abatement on the weekend, on the weekends or the Saturdays, or shall I say, we can try to do those streets as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Pauly yields back. Councilman Broussard is recognized.
Yeah, I was actually going to kind of make a comment or at least a plea along those same lines. Last week, in one of the canals in my district, a 10-inch tree was cut, and not a natural fall or old tree. It was cut with a saw, and whoever this person was that cut it, let it go into the canal, which is one of the major draining points of the parish. So I was going to say something tonight about, and there's trash, there's tires, there's sofas. I've seen pictures on Facebook of sofas. So I was going to kind of make a plea. It's hard enough for those folks to do their jobs. Let's not cut trees and lay them into the drainage canal. So that's it.
Thank you so much,
Councilman
Marcus.
Broussard yields back. Just kind of go back to that tree cutting deal. If you hire someone to cut your tree, it is the responsibility of the person you hire to remove that debris.
That's exactly right.
Waste Connections does not come and pick up your hired tree cutting or trimmings. I had a lady call, she trimmed a few trees, and actually what she didn't tell me is she cut down trees. So it makes a big difference, trimming and cutting them down. Councilman Napier?
I want to follow up on that. Not only trees, but if you get a contractor to go do anything at your house.
That's right.
Roofing, siding, anything, especially roofing. It's the responsibility of the contractor to remove it. As far as for the tires and all that we talking, Larry, I mean, the programs you talking about, that can be picked up whether it's along a parish
yeah.
road, a state highway, because we were riding
Honest-
over
it
the
doesn't
state
matter,
highway.
yeah.
But we can pick that up.
Honestly,
right?
the sheriff, not to cut you off, sorry about
No,
that.
go ahead.
Most of the time, the sheriff department is, not most of the time, but a lot of the time, he's on a state highway, like 182.
Right,
So
right,
he's,
right.
they're picking up wherever.
Yeah, so he's still doing that program?
Absolutely.
The sheriff?
The
okay.
sheriff is, yeah.
So we turn that in to you and you turn it in
I
to
can,
the
yeah,
sheriff?
if you just tell me where you need
Okay.
a street, I
I'm gonna
can pass it on to him.
okay.
Okay.
I didn't know if they were still doing it.
No, they're
or
still
not.
doing it.
Okay.
Councilman
Thank
Napier
you.
yields back.
Thank you.
Anyone
And
else
it's
with
not
questions?
something that worked through me, that's
I
something
got
that
you.
he did.
Thank you.
Councilman
Thank you.
Saunier.
You're welcome.
Larry, we have an issue near the dock in Delcom that
Sure.
Homer brought to my attention. I think there's a broken drain
Okay.
that exits into the bayou. It's creating a sinkhole right there, right near the dock.
that's
So
not
the
good.
Port Commission has the dock. It's the town's property. Actually, Dexter went out and looked at it. I don't know if they're going to have the equipment. I've asked them to speak to their engineer to see exactly what they think
Okay.
needs to happen. So they may request some mutual aid or something for it
Not a
to
problem.
help
We have a
them out.
mutual aid agreement.
All right.
That's not a problem.
Councilman Saunier yields back.
You're
Anyone else?
gonna talk back to Wendell?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, hearing no other comments, moving on to consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. Minutes for regular meeting of January 25th, 2023. Summary number 26, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Mrs. Rosemary Delane, mother-in-law of Brenda P. Bergeron, clerk of the council, who passed away on January 13th, 2023.
Summary number 27, introduced by clerk of the council.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Mrs. Diane B. Phillips, former clerk of the council of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, who passed away on January 28th, 2023.
Summary number 28, introduced by the clerk of the council.
A resolution accepting the resignation of Ms. Nancy Marshall as a member of the Sewer District Number 1 Board, effective immediately.
Summary number 29, introduced by the clerk of the council.
A resolution accepting the resignation of Ms. Cassie Duhon as member of the Iberia Parish Communications District, representing the New Iberia Police Department, effective immediately.
Summary number 30, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution amending the 2023 Road District Number 10 fund budget in the amount of $500,000 to recognize transfer from general fund for ARPA appropriation for road repair work.
Do I have a motion to open the consent agenda items? A motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Trowell. Councilman Olivier on discussion? Councilman Trowell on discussion? Any member at this time would like to remove an item from the consent agenda? For what purpose does the gentlewoman want to remove?
To discuss it.
Any other requests? Hearing none, the vote will be all items except for summary 30. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Opening summary number 30, introduced by the parish president. Do I have a motion? A motion by Councilman Olivier.
Second.
Second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Olivier on discussion. Councilman Landry.
Waive.
Any main motion discussion, members? Councilwoman Broussard is recognized.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is just amending the road district to show that the
The funds
transfer
from the general funds
fund
is going to the road district.
That is correct.
I just want to clarify that.
Councilwoman Broussard yields back. Anyone else on discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
That motion carries. Councilwoman Broussard in opposition. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 5239, introduced by Natalie Broussard of District 6. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the compiled ordinances of the Parish of Iberia, Louisiana, to remove the requirement that commissioners of the Waterworks District Number 3 must own lands assessed at $500 in the district.
Do you have a motion?
Move.
Have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Montran. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Wait.
Councilwoman Broussard waives. Councilman Montran.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think if you gotta drink the water, you should better have a say-so if you wanna get on the board.
You got a good point there, Councilman. Councilman Montran yields back. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 5, parentheses 20, is that 209? Introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Lydia Veterans Memorial Building Advisory Board for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Donald Day Reese, whose term expired October 1st, 2022. Application of interest on file from a Mr. Donald Day Reese. Note, this item was tabled at the January 11th, 2023 Iberia Parish Council meeting.
Do I have a motion to remove summary number 5 from the table? Have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Brown. Any discussion on the motion to remove from table? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Now to open summary number 5, do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Olivier. Second by Councilman Montran. Councilman Olivier on discussion.
Introduced himself at the council meeting, at the last council meeting, so he's ready and willing to serve.
That will be noted in the record, Mr. Olivier. Councilman Olivier yields back. Councilman Montran on discussion.
Wait, I was just curious if he ate them. I didn't
Yeah,
remember.
last meeting he did.
All right.
Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 31, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk?
A resolution amending the 2023 Public Library Fund budget in the amount of $109,000 to reflect carryovers of repair maintenance buildings as follows. Number one, $52,000 Parkview, and number two, $57,000 St. Peter, all to be funded from fund balance dash previous year.
Do I have a motion? A motion by Councilman Olivier. Second by Councilman Rossini. It was close, Sonia. It was close. Councilman Olivier on discussion? Councilman Rossini? Any main motion discussion, members? Councilman Pollard on discussion?
Yes. So this the one that they had repaired already?
They were in the process
In the
of it. This is
process.
carrying over to finish the repairs.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Pollard yields back. Anyone else, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 32, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk?
A resolution rescinding resolution number 2016-43, which requested that the future 5-lane ARA access road near Progress Point be named Veterans Memorial Boulevard, with said roads to be named as Access Way and Innovation Boulevard.
Do we have a motion? Motion by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilman Brown. Councilman Trahan. Councilman Brown. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 33, introduced by the clerk of the council.
A resolution appointing Captain Leland Lasater to the Iberia Parish Communications District to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Ms. Cassie Duhall, and that appointee's term shall be the duration of the unexpired term and shall expire on May 28, 2025.
Just before we take the opening, just to let the record reflect, in accordance with our rules, the captain did not address the council tonight, so I'll ask you for a table when we get to that point. I'll need a motion to open up. A motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Landry, Michael Landry. Councilman Olivier on discussion?
Make a motion to table till he addressed the council.
Let me hold that motion on the floor until we finish main motion discussion. I had a second by Councilman Landry. Any main motion discussion, members? We do have a motion on the floor to table by Councilman Olivier. Is there a second? Second by Landry. Any discussion on the table, members? Is that to the next
Table
meeting?
to the next meeting, correct.
That motion is to table to the next meeting. Hearing no discussion, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Summary number 33 is tabled until the February 22nd meeting. Moving on to summary number 34, introduced by legal counsel. Madam Clerk?
A resolution rescinding resolution 2022-63, adopted April 27, 2022, which authorized the purchase and sale agreement between Iberia Parish Government and BNSF Railway Company for the New Iberia Track Drainage and Signal Upgrade Project, and further authorizing the parish president to execute a purchase and sale agreement by and between Iberia Parish Government and BNSF Railway Company, and the other agreements necessary to carry out the intent and purposes of said purchase and sale agreement, providing for the effective date thereof, and otherwise providing with respect thereto in order to update the property location of said project. Note, a motion to suspend the rules is needed, as this item was not considered by the joint committee.
I need a motion to suspend the rules. I have a motion by Councilman Michael Landry, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Any discussion on suspension of the rules, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. I'll need a motion to open summary number 34. Have a motion by Councilman Michael Landry, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Landry in discussion.
What happened to it last year? I'd like to know.
I can fill in that. The location of the crossing arms. Excuse me. Location of the crossing arms changed. So originally it was spec'd out to be in the courthouse parking lot. So I'm not sure who asked to move it to the adjoining property, but basically to maintain the parking that we currently have at the courthouse, it was moved to the adjoining property. Now, the property appraisal took quite a bit longer than expected. When it was initially passed by resolution, the exhibits that were attached were with those previous locations. And so we had to amend it by resolution, had to bring it back to y'all to update the locations. And that should have gone out in your packet this week.
Correct. Councilman Landry, does that answer your question?
I'm good.
Councilman Landry yields back. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
I'll waive.
Councilwoman Broussard waives. Is there any discussion on the main motion, members? Any other questions for legal? Councilman Broussard, you good?
Let's get it done, please.
You heard Councilman Broussard. Let's get it done, members.
The railroad man.
Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Ordinances introduced for publication at our next meeting. There is none. Just to remind the public, our next meeting is February 22nd. And to remind you that there is some pretty unique adjudicated properties that is listed on Civic Source that can be found at the bottom of iberia-parishgovernment.com. I need a motion to adjourn. Have a motion by, oh, I'm sorry. We do have an expansion request. Teddy Bear almost lost the teddy bear, man.
Don't do
We need to
that.
make sure. Where's my deal at?
That's my campaign.
We do have a request by Councilman Trahon on an expansion. Summary number 35, introduced by James P. Trahon, District 8. Madam Clerk.
A resolution to amend the 2023 General and Road District Number 10 fund budgets in the amount of $228,160 to recognize a transfer of ARPA appropriations within the general fund to the Road District Number 10 to be utilized for repairs to Mullins Road Bridge over Teet Bayou. The purpose of this expansion is to expedite the repairs to this bridge in order to allow the continued use of the bridge and not have it closed to traffic.
I need a motion to expand the agenda. Motion by Councilman Trahon, second by Councilman Napier. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We have now expanded the agenda. I need a motion to go into public session. Have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Trahon. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We're now in public comments. At this time, anybody in the audience would like to address summary number 35? Hearing none, I'll need a motion to go back into regular session. Have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Trahon. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to suspend the rules, I need a motion.
Move.
Motion by Councilman Trahon, second by Councilman Rawsonay. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. I need a motion to vote on the main motion.
Move.
Have a motion by Councilman Trahon, second by Councilman Napier. Councilman Trahon, discussion.
Yes, this is kind of important because this particular bridge is a one-way in, one-way out for that neighborhood. So if they have to close this bridge, there's no way to get these folks in and out from their home. So I'd appreciate if y'all could help out on this matter.
Yes.
Councilman Trahon yields back. Councilman Napier on discussion. Councilman Napier concurs for the record. Councilman Napier yields back. Any main motion discussion, members? Councilman Saunier is recognized.
So if Mullins Road is on the off-system bridge list, why would the money be coming out of ARPA?
Because if you remember, the dollars that we have with the off-system bridge, the money was actually tied to Vitashaw, that swing bridge that they have.
Which we recently released.
Which you recently released. However, it's going to take up to 2 years for them to actually to be able to assign that money to anything.
Correct.
So that's why. That's the answer.
Councilman Saunier, does that answer your question?
I'm just curious if y'all have had a discussion with DOTD
Well, of
on
course.
that.
I mean, come on, man. You know we're
I'm
going to talk
just
to Barbara.
That's another, we already took 500 out of ARPA, that's another 228.
Well, that's actually, no, that's actually coming from your general fund. That's not, that's coming from the general, from the $1 million that you put in general. It's from, all of it's from ARPA funds, but that's coming from general.
Councilman Saunier yields back. Anyone else, members, on the main motion discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Oh, Councilwoman Broussard.
I just want to state for the record, I mean, I think this road needs to be fixed. I think it's a
bridge.
good project. My vote is not against the project. It's a vote of chipping away at the ARPA money again with us. I mean, this is not in the, any discussions that we had had of how we're using the money, and I'm just really concerned about us not having a plan and using the funds the way we're using them. So that's what my vote's reflecting, James. It has nothing to do with not supporting the bridge.
And I wish we could have used the off-system road money. For it, which is for it, but we kind of backed in the corner, so, that's the only option we really have, so that's the reason why I'm doing it that way.
I understand.
Councilwoman Broussard yields back. Mr. Tron, I'm not gonna pick and choose the projects that we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead with it because I think it's needed. Obviously, we have other bridges that will come up that isn't off-system road bridges that we'll be able to use that money. We've talked
exactly
about
right.
several other bridges that we have some issues on that we'll be able to use that. But this is what ARPA dollars were intended
That's exactly
for
what
us
it's
to
for.
help. And then we do, I think Mr. Olivier spoke to us a couple of times about infrastructure package that is coming down from the feds. At some point in time, we'll have access to some of that money too.
Yeah.
So-
Just for the record, before I move on, in the ARPA dollars, you put certain amount of dollars in lost revenue.
Correct.
That's going to the general fund. This is where this is actually coming from, just so you all know.
Okay, everybody,
Does that get it up to speed for a certain length of time?
That should get it up to speed for many years.
Okay, that's what I was, I just want, that's what
We
I
had-
wanted to thank you.
Pulling the whole top off.
Okay.
They're gonna redo all the
the
underneath, all the
foundation?
pilings,
All
cross
of it.
members, and put the top back on.
Yeah.
I think the only concern is about the access when that is being done. Have
They have
we
a detour.
talked?
That's all.
I mean,
all
I don't
in the
wanna do
bid.
that, have that hash out, but that's something we need.
That's included.
That's all in the bid.
Okay, it is?
To have a access bridge on the
A
side.
temple?
A detour
temporary
road on
bridge
the
for
side.
going out.
Good.
I'm going to echo the need for a plan as well. Again, I've always agreed with what Ms. Natalie's saying, the dire need and the emergency situation we're in with this. You know, I'd like for us to, again, sit down. We started looking at a plan or putting together a plan. It's kind of hit idle for now. I'd like to bring that up again. I wish we would sit
there you
and
go.
figure what the best plan is
Unlimited
with that
plans,
money.
give
It's
them-
not a bunch, but it's enough to do some good. Let's figure out where it matters the most. So,
Thank you,
echoing
Councilman
the-
Broussard.
echoing the sentiments.
Duly noted.
Thank you, sir.
Roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed.
Nay.
That motion carries. Councilwoman Broussard in opposition. I need a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Motion by Councilman Brown.
Second.
Second by Councilman Rawson. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. We're now adjourned.